Welcome to the Hunt Studio. I actually have quite a few art supplies, but in reality, I only use a small amount of them. As a matter of fact, just what I can fit on my dresser here. And yeah, so these are the ones that I keep referring back to over and over again. These are the ones that I keep in the arsenal, and the minute that I run out, I have to go back and get some more from the store. And I'm really gonna take the time to break down exactly everything that's in here, just kind of go item by item and show you the exact process that I use to make a successful piece of art, whether it be sketching, drawing, painting, the sort. My first favorite art supply is probably the most important: the pencil. Yes, the pencil. Who doesn't start making art without a pencil, right? I used to like to draw with these colored pencils, those erasable, colored sketch pencils, but I've kind of drifted away from that since then. I just find it easier and more enjoyable to just use a regular mechanical pencil. And so that's what I use when I do an undersketch. I'll either use this mechanical pencil or some ballpoint pens. Just some good, Bic, random ballpoint pens that, you can find them on the floor. You can go to the dollar store, you can take them off of a teacher's desk, just whatever. Take these pencils, and I like to use these also as a sketch utensil. When it comes to actually inking, I have a lot of different options reserved, just a bunch of different pens that I like to filter through, just depending on the situation, honestly. My go-tos here recently have actually been some fine liners by Spectrum Noir. Some fine liners, and again, various different types. If I want something fine, small lines, nice and controlled, some good like manga panels or something, I'm gonna draw with these fine-tuned 0.1 to 0.5 pens. But if I want something a bit more organic, I'm gonna take the time and go with something like a brush pen. This brush pen, amazing lines. My God, I can't speak. It's a new obsession of mine, is this brush pen. And then also I use some glitter pens, some glitter ballpoint pens, jelly rolls, for little highlights and fun little squigglies, little golden squiggles. Those are a lot of fun to play with. And then I also use just a good ballpoint pen. It's more of a gel pen, I suppose. And I use these two. One of them's Uniball Vision, and the other one is a Pilot Precise V7. And the only real difference between these two is the thickness. They put on ink really, really well. It has nice waterproof ink in it. It's super nice, really good. And if you're, you can pick this up at an Office Depot or any like a Walmart or a Target or something of that nature. So grab one of those and try those two out. I used to draw a lot with fountain pens. Fountain pens were a good, hearty obsession of mine that I like refillable pens a lot. But I've stopped using these so much as to draw with, and I mostly just write with them now, actually. I write a lot in my journals, and I use these predominantly. And then with the ink, I just have a little small collection of ink, iridescent ink, and then nice waterproof ink, and then some blue ink. Just all different options for my fountain pens, and if I want just that little glitter, if that ballpoint pen isn't doing it, that little gel pen isn't doing it, the gold will. I must confess that most of my favorite art supplies come out of this box, especially when it comes to the coloring of my drawings. The Jazzes Pro Series art box is what I use.
I bought this, and actually he sent me one, which is super cool. So I have two. So I have plenty of markers, and I've worn out like 12 of them. But I mean, I use this all the time. These alcohol-based markers are just, I love them. I love them so much. Love them. They have two different nibs to them. They have the brush nib, which is what I use predominantly, and then they have a bullet tip nib that I don't ever use. But that's the go-to whenever I want to color. And then it also comes with a bunch of colored pencils, which I don't use a whole lot. I use sometimes, but I don't really like using them. Maybe I'll learn how to use them and then get better off. But anyway, right now, mostly I just use the markers. With all of these supplies, these pencils, these markers, these fine liners, all of this, we still need something to draw on. It is true, I have quite a number of sketchbooks that I've filled up, each with their own little piece of character, their own little character. But the ones that we want to talk about are the ones that I have right now. I have two. I don't usually have two, but right now I have two. One of them is specifically designed for my markers. It's actually made from, imagine this, made from the paper and all the materials from Jazz's art box. The paper that comes with it is a really, really nice marker paper, so I use that. The other one is also hand-bound, just from different papers and different things. But this one doesn't really have an objective. This is where, like, I just have everything and anything in here. I get bored, randomly want to scribble around on something. That's what this is for, just kind of like a catch-all sketchbook. There's nothing at all. This one, I don't even know if I'm going to do a sketchbook tour on this. It's so random. The final bit. This last several minutes have been just talking about drawing, but now we're going to talk about painting a bit. And we're going to be just taking a deep dive into this new little box that I have. Convenient little box. It tucks away all of my paint supplies. And I do use acrylic paints. And I'm showing off some gesso that I use that I actually hardly ever use. But most thing I use is this Liquitex Basics acrylic paint. It just whatever paints I can get my hands on. Just not quite the professional quality. Not paying $18 a tube for like an 8-ounce bottle or 4-ounce bottle a tube. I'm not doing it. I much rather would pay $5 to $10 per color and just kind of run with that. So I go with like the student grade paint, and it works for me. It works just fine. And I get my various different colors, my primaries, my whites, my blacks, and just whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And just something to paint in, and some really, really cheap brushes. Go to Michael's, go to your little craft shop, buy a pack of paint brushes for $10 to $15. It's super simple. And then that's it. That's quite literally it for painting supplies. As far as what I paint on, I am a bit of a cheapo. I'm going to be honest. I don't like to buy too many supplies. So what I do is I scavenge through thrift stores and find things. And I also use like wood from like abandoned wood. I like to do like woodworking projects and like scrap pieces of wood. I'll use that. And then I'll also use thrifted canvases. I have the really, really big thrifted canvas that I've just been kind of scared to touch actually for a while. And actually, as a matter of fact, when I do paint, I like to paint on things that you wouldn't consider like not your typical canvases. So, I mean, I've painted my PC, I've painted my Switch, I've painted a controller, I've painted a bunch of different tables, you know, just basically anything and everything that if I'm using it at the time, the chances are it's going to get paint on it somehow. Over this past year, my art style has actually changed quite significantly. And with that, a lot of my supplies have changed as well. And I figured a 2022 extensive art supply list was in order. And I'm actually kind of glad I did this. I look forward to doing these kinds of videos. I look forward to doing sketchbook tours and studio tours and what's in my art bag, those kinds of videos. I love that kind of stuff. So this right here is right up my alley, and I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm actually going to see you guys later. I'm going to wrap this up, and I will see you next time.